So you were saying like that they're gonna go back to these things or something. I feel like they explicitly, purposefully aren't going to go back to it to not draw attention to it. Like they're not gonna write it or rewrite it or retcon it or whatever in a way that it makes sense. They're just not going to address it, which is I feel a problem that started in the war arc. I'm just
I
gonna
mean,
leave it
I
unexplained
kind of
on
agree.
purpose.
For example, I'm making a theory because the problem
Just
is
leave the
I
conversation.
obviously I both expect and don't expect Kishimoto to make it make sense with the past.
Yeah.
So I am drawing comparisons to things like from the past to the future here because that's how it should be. But at the same time, yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't think, like, for example, my Jura theory and how that relates to Kage's revival, I do not expect them to remotely imply that it's similar to what happened with Kaguya. If they do, awesome. I don't expect them to ever mention it. I'm
Yeah.
just drawing the comparison to help me get to what I think will happen in Boruto, but I don't expect the Boruto series itself to make that connection.
Yeah.
Even if Kishimoto is, he might just be accidentally doing the same thing. I don't know. Like, my theory is the same, but I don't expect him to talk about it in the story.
It's because like the more
Some of the shit doesn't.
broad
I
they
don't know.
leave it, the less of a problem it is. At least for the mass audience. Because the
I don't
general
agree with that
fan
though, because as it
isn't
is, it's
doing what
already
we're
a
doing.
problem.
Yeah, but the general fan isn't doing what we're doing. They're not even looking at it. They're just going with the flow. Oh, okay, that's the story. All right, cool. And they're just not thinking about it more than that. It's like me with JJK.
Yes, but
Or what I would wish I could do with JJK.
I agree with you, but that just sucks,
I
bro. I don't know. I hate
know.
that mindset.
I
I hate
know.
this mindset of like, oh, the average fan won't care. So whatever. Like, bro, you're writing a story and you're just gonna settle for mid? Like, what is wrong with what kind of author mindset is this? Like, I don't understand how you can sit there and just be cool with that. Like, God, I wish Kodachi was still writing,
I
bro.
know, Sam. Well,
Like, I feel like
the problem
Kodachi
is because,
actually
like,
thought he was writing good.
again, the less you look at these things, the better the story becomes because it's not being bogged down by all these things. I think the story is like S tier. It's the world building aspects and all these other side tangential things that are there for added for like cool extraness that like the hyper core hardcore fans whatever us are gonna look at that we just aren't being delivered on, and it's actively bringing down the rest of it rather than raising it up as a
I
cool neat
agree with
addition.
you, but I think the end of part one story sucks too.
So same. That's beside the point.
They're like, like the story was still problematic too.
That's the one thing I'll give you, but that doesn't count. Oh yeah, yeah. The same way that you were. I forgot what you were saying earlier. Oh yeah, the way you see Ishiki's eye and how they put so much hyper focused importance on that is the same way I see Momoshiki's horn. So now you understand.
What do
Really,
you
I see
mean?
both.
Like,
But
what are you referring to?
in
Like, what
the
what
at the
what
end of the Kara
specifically are you
arc,
referring?
or I guess Ishiki arc, when Boruto rips off the horn and Momoshiki's freaking out. I've talked about this plenty of
Oh
times.
yeah, no, that's a problem, bro. That's
I
why I'm
know.
freaking adding that to the rewrite.
I
Like
know. Yeah. Well, I
the
felt
fact
like
that it
I
hasn't amounted to
convinced you
anything,
to do it.
it's
Yeah.
insane.
Basically demanded you to. It's like bleeding,
No,
pleading
I'm
and
glad.
begging on my
Like I
knees.
said, I'm glad you brought it up because it's so much better with the way I have it.
Yeah.
Because I kind of forgot about it because it just hasn't amounted to anything. But like it should.
And again, these are
Like
details that like
Ishiki,
the normal fan isn't thinking about. Like Cam, she had forgot about the amber purification pot when it came to Naruto versus Jigen. Because she didn't care, because it doesn't matter. It's just a side thing in the story. It's cool for
so
us,
I
we want it
agree.
explained, but
Okay, I agree there. But in fairness, that one is more ridiculous. And like the Momoshiki horde, it was just so emphasized to the point that it doesn't make sense that it was pointless.
I know. See, but the
You know what I
thing
mean?
is,
It's not like the Amber Pot was ever emphasized to be important in Boruto. It never existed in Boruto. You've never watched Naruto, you don't even know it exists. So I don't expect it to be relevant.
so
But this is in Boruto, and they made it important,
I don't
and
want
yet
to
nothing happened.
I don't want to spoil anything. Well, first of all, I hear like One Piece does something like this a lot, where like 10 years later, something in the background from like 500 chapters ago is relevant now. They do that all the time apparently in One Piece. But like specifically in Dragon Ball, like basically the exact same concept happened to where there was just this MacGuffin device that could like seal away an opponent or whatever. It's just not like it's a side thing. It's not important. It's used like in the OG Dragon Ball in the early days. In freaking Dragon Ball Super, not Z, but Super, it's like a whole series skipping over it. They bring it back, this unimportant thing that everyone else in the right mind have forgot about. Why? Because it makes sense for them to use it against this one random hyper niche opponent that they're fighting randomly. They didn't just forget about it. It's actually useful and relevant here. They're not just going to forget about it. They're going to address it. Not just the fact that it wouldn't work or whatever excuse. It just straight up does work. Like, imagine they do bring the Amber Purification back up to have sealed Ishiki. Like, it just straight up does work in this case.
Yeah, or
Like,
you
I don't wanna
explain why
spoil
it
too
doesn't
much,
work.
but
It's just like, I know you don't care as much about this one, but like again, Naruto with the tail beast abilities, I just feel like they barely did it with I think it's in the manga, but they barely did it with Naruto using Lava Style Rasen Shuriken against Delta. But it's like okay, he can do them, but like there's no addressing of why he's not trying anything on Ishiki or Jigen, and I don't like that. It's like,
yeah.
oh my
In the
god,
case of the
fucking
Dragon Ball
sucks,
thing,
bro.
it's not just the fact that it was just brought up again. It's the fact, or the fact that it worked on the enemy. It's the fact that the characters are thinking to use it because this MacGuffin device specifically gets around the one weakness the opponent has. Basically, in Dragon Ball, they're using the ninja tactics to exploit the opponent's weakness or to go against their strength or whatever, because they're like invincible or whatever. They can't be defeated. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna seal
Yeah.
them. It makes sense. There you go.
It's like Gojo in the prison realm. That they found the one thing. Like imagine if they reused it
My problem
and
with the prison
JJK
realm thing
to
is that
seal
like that was
Sukuna.
such a
It honestly would make
significantly
sense for them
narrative
to do that.
thing, but like the prison realm was sort of brought up out of nowhere. Like I still don't like the explanation there. Just sort of, we don't really even know much about it, but yeah.
No, but my point is, if they hypothetically end
He
up
did it.
using that to seal Sukuna or some shit, that would actually just make sense for them to do, as
Sure,
long as they
yeah.
know how to and have the conditions to use it.
Yeah,
Like it, it's a similar idea.
see,
At least in the prison realm's case, though, it's not like they possessed it. It was the bad guy who had it, and they never,
yeah.
um, what I'm saying, like if they never got it, then you obviously they couldn't use it. But if they did get it, they should try it,
Yeah,
or at least address why they
obviously,
can't use it.
I'm fine with the second time a device like that being used for it to be used for a narratively significant moment. But like in Dragon Ball, is used to seal some nobody away. It doesn't matter. Compared to like the second time is used to seal the big bad. And like in in JJK, it's just used for the first time to seal Gojo away. Like it's just out of nowhere, and we're just supposed to go with the flow. Like there's like, all right, we're moving on. Just roll with it, and we're just like, oh, okay, guess we're just doing that now. Like, we weren't expecting it,
That's
weren't
what happened with
anticipating
Amber
it, it just
Pot with
happened.
King Deku, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's some significant thing. Like, oh, you got the 8 and 9 tails right. They freaking could have done that any random which way they decided. They didn't have to do it that way. Some
yeah.
random way they went about it. Yeah, they could have had the slander plurification cup. And it could have sealed Sora from that one filler arc. There you go. Could have been
I wouldn't be
anything.
surprised if there's some other stealing thing that we've seen that I just forgot. But
Really, they didn't even
in
need
any
to do
case,
anything at all. Like, they could have just made Sora canon, and at the end of the arc, freaking Kakazu, when he comes by to beat up that one temple dude, you said his name earlier, Kazuna or someone. I don't know, maybe that's someone else. Like, they
oh,
could have just
Kazuma.
captured Sora in that arc and just made that arc canon. Which, again, that arc kind of is canon because it's not just in addition. It's like literally explaining Asuma's backstory before he dies. It's kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just do that then. You seal Sora, you seal the Ninetales. There you
But
go.
yeah, that would have actually worked.
Yeah.
But in case of Boruto, though, at this point, I mean, if maybe in chapter 200, if they mentioned the broken horn or the Byakugo steel, cool. But like, why that late? It's almost like aggravating if it's brought up that late because it's different from like you already know about Meguna, but like
Spoilers.
when it comes to that,
Yep.
So first of all, you have the whole thing at the very early on. Sukuna says, "When he makes this binding vow."
No, I'm fine with that.
Later
Yeah,
on,
that's all
with
fine.
Mahito, he it's reminded, like he realizes, good, Itadori Yuji forgot about that binding vow as intended, and then progressively it's like Sukuna's got some plan with Megami. We know something's coming, and then we see boom when he does the thing, and it's like, okay, but it's built up. It's not just out of nowhere. But even in that was
Yeah,
case, I feel like that would be more okay to be out of nowhere because it was like a bad guy's plan versus some plot reveal about the frickin' Byakugo seal being related to the Karma seal, and then it's just never brought again for like 500. I don't know, it's just weird. It's different.
yeah, I'm completely fine with Maguna. Like, I'm not gonna praise it as peak and end all be all. I'm not even gonna say it's good, quote unquote good, because good's in comparison to other things. It's serviceable and it's palatable. It does what it needs to do with the story and it continues on. Like, it's continuing the story in a positive direction. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the build
Not
up. I
good.
don't think the delay was bad. I don't think it was too early, too late. I think it's just perfectly good the way it was.
Yeah.
But like this Byakugo seal thing, if it's revealed, if the connection is revealed in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 150, it's just like, I don't know, bro.
No,
I
you,
don't know
you
about
see,
that one.
the
Jesus.
problem here, you don't even need to do the chapter thing. If it's revealed in 2 Blue Vortex, it's brought up for the first time in 2 Blue Vortex, a new series, it wasn't answered in the series it was brought up in. Like, that
Yeah.
is a drop plot point for Naruto Next Generations. No matter what, it just straight up is.
And even like the broken horn, if they retroactively say that that is causing Momoshiki problems now, it's like that should have caused him problems at the end of part one. That like it should have been in the story. It's bad no matter how you slice it.
Yeah. Like, unless they just put 2 Blue Vortex
Even
on hiatus and
Pills is such
continue
a wasted
on with
opportunity.
Naruto Next Generations covering through the time skip. That's the only way they could do it. Imagine. Bro, that'd be
Bro,
crazy. The
I still
community would
stand by
lose
it.
their mind.
Two Blue Vortex shouldn't exist. It should just be
Yeah,
Boruto chapter 81,
I
85,
agree.
88.
Bro, even the latest chapters giving us information I think we should have got at the end of Naruto Next Generations.